Hello everyone, I'm Swetha from India and I'm pursuing my MBA in Korea University Business School. Here I am, standing on the stage, talking with this room full of strangers. Let me tell you a secret, I'm stressed. Yes, but this is the good kind. The kind that shapes my bones, pumps my heart, and gives me the zeal to move forward. But not every stress is of that kind. So let me take you back to the moment where I felt the stress was not a good kind. In fact, I felt like it's the end of the world. I was preparing for UPSC, which was the toughest competitive civil service exam back in India. It gives the opportunity to serve people of all sections. I am a people centric person, so I thought this is my dream job. It was my kind of Mount Everest. I didn't prepare for it, I lived it. I sacrificed all kind of precious things in my life, including weekdays, weekends, birthdays, everything. For that one goal, I gave everything. And suddenly, I got the result. I got to know I didn't pass the exam. I crashed. It felt like the entire universe has decided to push the delete button on all my years of work. I invested years in creating this dream and it just collapsed in front of me like a beautiful sand castle being washed away by a giant wave. I was not only disappointed, it was also a kind of identity crisis. I just didn't lose the result, but I also lost a sense of who I was supposed to be. I cried, I isolated myself, I questioned my own worth. It was dark, heavy, exhausting. This is the stress which is not of a good kind. The kind that made me think that I'm carrying some invisible stress in my head. The kind that made me sick. It felt like this entire world is spinning around and just standing still. And what happened to me that day didn't shake me, it unraveled me. So, are you interested to know what happened next?
Yes.
So, it was the phase of rebuilding. We all know GPS, right? Whenever we go off route, it tries to make our route, to this destination, right? This is the thing that happened to me. It recalculated my route to something better. And what is that something better in my life? I opened an NGO. I got a job in my dream company, Amazon, and I got admission into the best university for my MBA. Yes, let me get back to you. This is the thing that we are going to talk about. Not about stress, but how stress can be transformative in your life when you pair it up with courage and persistence. Stress is always misunderstood. We always think it is like an uninvited guest in our life, and we also think that it always comes in the exact moment to ruin the pattern. It's like right before an exam, our brain stops braining. It's like our brain becomes a blank sheet. Or right before a job interview, we struggle forming basic human sentences like hello, I am. You can see the change in modulation, the change in voice, the huge gap between each word, panic, stress. How can I forget the group presentation stress? Like whenever the professor comes and he asks to present a group project, our panic kicks in. And we're like, am I supposed to do something? It's like everybody is a ghost and you still wondering, am I the blue? Like, what should I do? Stress. And my most favorite example, imagine you're trying to meet a deadline and you're typing very furiously, like your entire life depends on it. And suddenly your computer crashes. It feels like it decided, I'll take a nap. Good luck, human. So, stress doesn't care who we are, whether it's a CEO or a student, whether we live in a palace or a small hut. It is an ultimate equalizer. It's a kind of gravity that pulls all of us down in some or other way. So, this brings me back to the theme stress management turning breakdowns to breakthroughs. You know, the journey from breakdown to breakthroughs is not a straight line. It has its own twists and turns like a roller coaster. But every twist and turn will give us an equal opportunity to let us know what the things are going on, to give a deep insight about ourselves. These are not the insights that I read from some books. These are something that I had to live with. It's like I had to learn every tough moment at a time. And through all the tough moments, I have discovered 5 powerful lessons in my life that helped me to shape my breakdowns to breakthrough. But before going to that, let me tell you some stats. According to the Mental Health Foundation, 61% of people who are suffering from stress show signs of anxiety, and 51% of people undergo depression. And the saddest part is that the people who are depressed also suffer from loneliness. You know what's the scary part? This stress is invisible, but it is yet everywhere. To keep it in a nutshell, stress is something that we all have to deal with, whether it's work, exam, personal challenge. But in fact, if you don't treat it as an enemy and try making it as the step for your growth, you can do wonders. So let's come back to the lessons that I want to say. One, don't let stress magnify your moment. You all know Instagram, right? And Instagram is famous for filters. Stress is also a kind of Instagram filter, but it's not always a good filter. It makes a problem look 10 times bigger than it is actually. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're a very hardworking employee and you never missed a deadline in your life. But you got a situation that because of some X reason, you missed the deadline. So let's go to that employee's brain. He thinks like, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not that disciplined. Maybe I'm not that worthy. These thoughts that he had in his brain are the result of the magnifying his stress. To better understand, let me give you another example. Imagine you and your friend are sitting in the parties and you're having some beautiful conversation. In middle, you passed some statements and indeed they're positive, but it didn't receive the way that you wanted with your friend. And he gets offended. And yes, then we go back to home and we start thinking about the situation again and again and again. And we get these thoughts, maybe I should stop talking to people. I'm just socially hopeless. Again, these thoughts are result of magnifying our own stress. Stress is not something that you think it's negative, but you can see from these examples, it's very simple. But when we look into their thoughts, they are trying to make it bigger. So every tiny mistake in our life should be the tiny mistake. We should not make the tiny mistake the headline of our entire life. And every bump is not a mountain. So if you take back my story, previously, I thought UPSC result will decide my fate. I thought I was just failing before the finish line. But later, I understood a failure, a single result, doesn't define my whole story. You know how amazing it is to see your stress for what actually it is. It's really small. And the second one, be kind to yourself. Have you ever been so hard on yourself after a drastic failure? I did. I was my own worst critic. I used to beat myself for every little thing. And at one time, I thought, what would I do if my best friend is in the same position? I would definitely motivate her, help her, let her do all the things for her goal. Then it was an instant realization for me. I'm treating myself worse than the way I treat my best friend. Then I started giving positive affirmations to myself. It's okay. You still have value in you. You still have opportunities in front of you. You know what? This kind of confidence, compassion, gave me the opportunity to rebuild. The third one, accept the reality and then take back control. You know, this strange thing about stress, it makes us to think that life is unfair, which is what exactly I thought when my result was bad. But the thing is, fairness doesn't fix anything. Acceptance does. When I failed, I asked many questions to myself. Why me? Why now? But when I accepted, I didn't pass, I didn't give up, I woke up, I started seeing all the opportunities that are there in front of me. And you know, that gave me the positive push to myself, like I still can do wonders, and that one result will not define me entirely. Yeah. Acceptance is something that people feel if we accept the things that we fail, we gave up. But let me tell you, if you don't know what happened in that situation clearly, how can you move forward and do wonders in your life? So first, you should stop. Think, is it making me better or it's not letting me to grow? But why? You should have a clarity on what you have and then you should move forward. And the fourth one, give back and then gain perspective. During my LTO service, I had this wonderful opportunity to talk with different kinds of people from different communities. Especially, I had a very close chat with differently able people. And from that, I got to know my problems are not that big because the challenges that they are facing in their life, hunger, survival, homelessness, are much bigger than the problems that I have. You know, in this fast paced life, we stop acknowledging the things that we have and we start chasing for the things that we don't have. So when you start helping, you gain a perspective. You gain your own understanding of yourself. And that makes you really big. It's not that you're just helping them, it's also that you're helping your own self to find yourself. It's like you'll be knowing how lucky are you to have all these things with you and how capable are you to cross the situations in your own way. And you don't need anyone to help. And the fifth one, happiness isn't a destination. You know, I didn't clear the exam and I thought clearing that exam would be my ticket to happiness. But it was wrong. Happiness isn't something that is locked behind the door and you should cross some milestones to, achieve it. It is in your now. It is in your present moment. It's in your steps, missteps, unpredictable, messy journeys we all have. We don't need a perfect moment to celebrate. We don't need a perfect time to be proud of. So, if you see my speech, I have iterated a few times about failure. So, let me tell you why. I got to know this from a life coach where he starts, tell me the spelling of life. Life. Try taking F from it. Oh, okay. Life. If you consider F as a failure, your life becomes a life without an F in your life, without a failure in your life. I admit, I know this failure gives you tons of stress. But if you consider that into positive and make you give the opportunity for yourself to grow, your failure gives you a new life. You know, life is full of problems, but it gives problems to the people who have the capability to solve the situation. Next time, if you are in a very big problem that is causing you so much stress, you should be very proud of yourself because life believes in you that you can overcome the situation all by yourself. I listen to this often like world only wants to know the successful stories. But let me tell you, every successful story also has lots of failures. But the very perspective makes them successful. We all know the great inventor, Mr. Edison, who invented the bulb. He failed 1,000 times in the process of inventing the bulb. When someone asked him, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I got to know 1,000 ways of not doing it the right way. See, damn, it's the perspective. See, like, he didn't consider his thousands failures as a failure. Instead, he made every failure as a learning point that made him to evolve his idea and that eventually led him to succeed. Let me tell you this interesting thing that I got to know from my professor in one of my MBA class. She mentioned being comfortable with uncomfortable situations. Let me repeat. Being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. It's easy to be comfortable in comfortable situations. But when you try to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, it's like the stressful situations that we all have. And boom, you don't need to think about stress because you're already comfortable in dealing with all these situations, like uncomfortable situations in your life. What I want all of you to remember, stress doesn't come to defeat you. It comes us to remind our own strength. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to let you know how powerful you are, how capable you are to solve that situation. Consider stress as a forge and you as a sword. Forge is used for sharpening the sword. So stress is something that makes us to sharpen our life. It comes to teach us something. So next time when stress knocks your door, don't slam it. Open it. Let it come. Let it teach you. Let it lead you to the way of all the breakthroughs that you're waiting for. Because, my friends, you are in this amazing journey of becoming a wonderful person, and this world is waiting for you to take charge in your power. Are you ready to race? I know you are.